So, Sophie, where were you born?
I was born in Fiji, but not on my island. My father was working on the other side of the island, so I was born in a village called Nosuri.
Recently, you've had to take a trip back to Fiji, and we're going to show people some of the footage from that. Let's start by playing this video that helps people understand where it's a fair flight.
Well, I had to go to Suva.
Yep.
And from Suva, I stay in Suva mainly, and then from Suva we had to take a boat overnight to the village. It's a 6 to 8 hour trip on a boat, like a big boat, and sleep anywhere, and people sleep on the deck everywhere. Back in Fiji, you still do that. And that's the little island that it's called Ono, meaning 6, because there's 6 villages. There's only 4 marked. There's 2 outer islands not marked. We get onto a little boat to get to, that's the little island, that's the village.
So this is
one of the 6 villages.
This is the village. When you say your island, this is your island.
Yes, yes.
So your father was the chief of this whole island, or is it the village?
There's 6 villages. So yes, of the whole island called Ono, meaning 6.
And when he passed away, your sister became the chief.
Yes, one of my older sisters, she became chief, and she took it on for 25 years.
Wow. And in Fijian culture, was that a new thing, having a woman as a chief?
I think it was, but people accepted it. No one questioned it. She was fairly strong woman, and she wasn't a working woman, but she was she did work. She was a tailor virtually. She did a lot of tailor, but she was involved in lots of committees and meetings. So she was accepted, and she could stand up and be able to say whatever.
Yeah. And so she passed away.
She passed away, then another sister took over. And she did it for 15 years.
Wow.
She's just older than me. She took it on for 15 years, and she passed away 12 months ago.
Okay.
I went to a funeral, and then they said, now, because I was the last sister alive, it automatically came to me to take over the position.
As chief of the whole island?
Yes. But I did want to do it. I wanted to do it for my sisters, but then it's just not easy to live here and do it.
Yeah.
So, because I've got my little family here, much as I love the place, so I decided, well, my cousin, who is taken over the position, he kept asking me, make a decision so we can get on. And actually the government is saying the villagers have to have their chief because they can work together and do things, Yeah. Every village has a chief so that we can move on. So everyone wanted to say, come on, you have to virtually crown your new chief so that we can move on.
So they wanted to crown you as chief?
Yeah, originally, because I was automatically.
Yeah.
But because I live here, I had to write a letter to say that I am handing over my position to my first cousin who lives there.
But a letter isn't enough. You needed to go there in person.
Oh, the letter goes to the government.
Okay.
But the official thing is done in the village. That's just the traditional thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, all the 6 villages were involved. Like one offered, they just volunteered to do the catering. One volunteered to get the place ready, and some volunteered to get the tents and everything. So everyone volunteered. It was just amazing how it worked together, and it went very smoothly.
So let's watch what happens. So
this is Vambe. This is one of the villages, and this is where I call it my village. This is where I go to stay. Yes, my family house is here, and it's fairly big. That's a church at the end. They have 2 churches. They have 2 churches. They've got Catholic, Methodist, and one of the Pentecostal churches. That red one is a new, it is a church.
So is
that's a church, and right at the end, that red one right at the end, that's the Methodist.
Oh yeah.
And the Catholic is the one at the back.
There.
So there's 3 churches for
3
about
churches.
100 people.
That's fair.
Barely 100 people.
So 3 churches for 100 people.
I know. No, it's...
Wow. So where was your house?
Behind that big hall. That's my house is on the other side of the marquee.
Okay, so
that one.
That's your house on the other side of the marquee.
Yes, the family house, yeah.
That's the sort
And
of...
that's the community hall right on that red one. That's the community hall. So all the functions and things are done there. And they put up the tent because there were more people. The hall was too small, so we put up a marquee for the occasion. There were up to 300 people there.
That's amazing.
See, they're putting up another tent. That's marquee. That was for the catering. You know, the ones with the tables and things. That was for us there. And that's what the men did. They went to get fish for the day.
Wow. This is fish for the day.
Yeah. Or they would have done it the day before, a couple of days before. The men just go and dive for fish and come back with lots of... And that's the church service. We had to have a church service before the inaugural thing. So this is the Methodist church.
At the Methodist church? Yeah.
And there's people coming out of church. And that's what men wear, sarongs. And this is the where we had dinner. That's where we sat. That's the catering. And these are the whistleblowers. What's it called? Not whistle. They, when the ceremony started, they had to blow this thing. What's it? Concho. That's the tradition when the chief to be left I got dressed in one area and he got dressed in a different houses. And once he leaves the house, they start playing the conch shell. Conch shell is a significant of a chief is around. When he dies or when he's been crowned, that's when they just blow it. Sometimes when they die, it is blown virtually 24 hours, just saying we're in mourning.
Wow.
This is the kava tray that
So tell us about the kava.
Kava is the traditional of Fiji, or in the Pacific, the New Guineans, and I noticed people, it's a sign of, in here you have beer drinking, but that's slightly different from this. It is done in very ceremoniously.
Yep.
The people that present it get dressed in a Fijian costume, like you might see later, and they mix it in front of him, and then it's presented. It's a sign of peace.
Okay, so it has, the kava isn't just a drink; it has meaning.
Yes, it's it was given to the Queen, and this is the room that we did the function, and that's the man that I think is the one that presented, and there are his bodyguards, his Fijian bodyguards,
wow.
And that's his spokesman. There's a big hierarchy. I had to get dressed into that tapa to hand over.
Wow. So what is that made of? Is that?
It's bark.
It looks like it's bark.
Bark, yeah. I think the day I have it, I can bring some in here.
Yeah.
And it's made of bark, and it's done everywhere, and everyone, it's used for dressing up. See, the men wear it completely. That thing, that band, that's the band that I hand over.
Okay, so that band represents being the chief.
Yeah, anyone that wears a band like that across your chest, meaning they're chief.
Okay.
So, and I have special escorts. So, there's a big hierarchy. So people have their little duties, and that lady, they escorted me, and I had to sit on the floor. Everyone sits on the floor.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as chair. These are in waiting for the chief to come through, the new chief. And here he comes now.
So, wow.
That's the chief coming in with his entourage, and you see the people with their clubs and things. They're his escort.
So he's the new chief.
He's the new chief. And now he sat down. Now I'm just handing over the band, yes, yeah. And then he has this special drink, a drink. That's him having a drink. And yeah, well, that was
so the drink is part of the ceremony.
Mm.
And it's kava?
Well, yes, it is part of the ceremony. When we say to anoint him, we say he's going to be given a drink.
Okay.
So the anointing bit, he says he's going to be giving it a drink. That's instead of saying we're crowning, we say he's going to be anointed. It's called he's giving it a drink. Yeah. So that drink is very special. There's a ceremony in front of it. Didn't manage to take pictures of it. So, someone virtually gets up and virtually dances and presents the drink. And then when it's done, that's the end of it. And that's it. Once he has the drink, he's anointed.
He's now the chief.
He's now the chief.
And he's got 2 bands on.
One he had on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the island walking around. That's just the island. Absolutely beautiful beaches, and that's it.
It gives people a bit of a picture. So this is
part of the island.
For you growing up, this was normal?
Yes. I mean, I didn't actually grow up as a child. Yeah, I grew up in another island, but I went back and, because my father was a working man, my uncle, he could go in the village, but I just went for holidays and we had to go home. It's more as an adult that I went more often.
Yeah.
And my sister took over. Every time I'd go, I would go to the village.
Yeah, wow.
It was just wonderful. There's the hall. This is another ceremony. Now, this girl grows up, these girls, whenever a family, a new family, like my children, if they went there for the first time, there's a big ceremony. And this is a ceremony. These are my cousins' grandchildren, and they've lived in America and they've come back to go to the village. So to go to the village, you have to have a ceremony. You have to have a ceremony. And that's the ceremony. That was after. That was the next day. This is the big ceremony. And I had presided because I was accepting them to come to the village. So I had to sit there and,
And welcome them to the village.
Yes. So that was the next day.
Wow.
The first day was huge. The second day was another one of them. So it was full of ceremonies. And when the villagers come, I had to do that to my children when they were little. They have to bring food and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, wow.
And kerosene, drums of kerosene in front of it for petrol, for the boats and whatever they have. Once upon a time it was diesel because we had a diesel going for power in the village. But we've gone a bit solar, not completely, but now it's the boats. We've got 2 or 3 boats, little dinghy, those things, runabouts they call them. And the people that go in, like the family of the people that went in, they brought in about 10 drums of thingo.
Oh,
so there's a lot of giving and exchanging, forever giving.
So it's part of the culture that there's always gift giving and receiving. It's part of that's how
it's always give. You never keep, the word. I still remember that my mother telling me that in our culture, there's the word properties, meaning the word is yau, and it means it has to be going. You can't store it. You have to be giving it all the time. So as growing up, we don't have treasures that you keep. We just give it away. Mainly the tapas and all those sort of things. You forever, when someone from the village comes, we give. And
when you say the tapas, what's that?
Tapa is the cloth thing.
Oh yeah, that's the cloth.
That's called tapa.
Okay.
And there's all, it's treasured, tapas and mats.
Yeah.
Mats are handed down by women. My mother used to do that. And the tapas, they're made by special people. I mean, in villages, everyone can do it, and they do it. And that's more the exchange of, that's our valuable thing. Like if I go to a village, I will take some kava to drink together and a tapa or some mats.
Oh, wow.
And present it to them. And so generally people they keep the mats for a special occasion.
Yeah, okay.
When someone dies, you take a mat. When someone has a baby, you take a mat.
Wow.
And any other thing, or you go and visit somebody,
Yeah.
or mainly if you go and visit someone's sick, you take food.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful culture that way, you know.
Yeah.
Forever. Like you say, you take a village to, you know, the village is actually a village where everyone forever interacting and helping one another.
So how did you find coming from that culture to Australian culture?
Well, I came in the 60s, you see. I'm old as the hills. Big culture shock. Big culture shock. One thing, I grew up in Suva, which is, at those days in the 60s, small town. You said hello to everybody on the street. And I remember coming and smiling to everybody. I remember I came right in May and it was cold. Everyone wore dark clothes. I went down the street and I'm smiling. And people look at me.
Yeah.
You know? I went back and everyone wore in black. In those days, everyone wore black or grey.
Yeah.
And I said to one of my Fijian friends over here, are they all going to a funeral? They're all in black. Because in Fiji, you only wear black during the funeral.
Yeah.
See, I wore colourful clothes. We wear very colourful clothes, hibiscus print and all that. And yeah, it was a culture shock. Took a little while. I learned not to smile to anybody. That's the bad thing that I almost went the other way. That I didn't smile to everybody because no one smiled. But I do now, you know. As when I first got to Australia, I sort of, and you don't. And other thing that I do, whenever I meet somebody, I put my hand out to shake their hand. And they look at my hand. What's she doing?
When you're on the island.
In the islands, as soon as you meet somebody, hey, Bula. If you say Bula, Bula is the famous word. Everyone knows Bula. If you've been to Fiji, you know the word. So Bula, and you put your hand out. That's part of a culture.
Which is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
What do you think Australians could learn from Fijians?
Just the friendliness and openness, I guess the friendliness, yeah.
And what was that experience like for you, going and handing over the chiefship?
It was emotional. It was very, you know, I have great respect for my village because the way they treat us.
So this is a big deal for the island in that they've had a woman as chief for 40 years.
Two women, yeah.
Two women and now they're going back to a man being chief.
Yes. Chiefs don't live in castles. We don't have money. We don't have the wealth as such. The wealth is your own. And if you have a business, you might have a bit of money. But, you know, whatever you have, you share. Yeah. It's not for yourself sort of thing. That's the beauty of the village. You try and share whatever you got. So
that's beautiful. The chief's job isn't to be the rich one that everybody gives money to. It's to actually care for everybody.
Share. We share everything.
Well, it's amazing. I had no idea that we had royalty amongst us.
It's not royalty. It's just the chief. It's not royalty as such.
It's kind of royalty.
And I say it's royalty only in my village, you know, because every village. And yes, my friend said to me, do we have to call you princess? No. I have a title at home. It's only from my village they call me by my title.